So that wraps up Season 5 of Mamemeister's High Score Kerfuffle, and our final game was a choice from Graham, which was Rescue, released by Stern Electronics in 1982. I hadn't heard of this game before last week, let alone played it, and it turns out it's pretty good. As I said last week, it's a twin-stick shooter, which is interesting, as it was likely inspired by Robotron, but Robotron was inspired by Berserk, also by Stern. Although similar controls, the setup is pretty different with Rescue. You control a helicopter, and you need to save people who fall down into the sea via parachute. There are then numerous enemies trying to hinder your progress. Initially other helicopters, then sharks, then submarines, and then speedboats. There isn't the barrage of enemies like Robotron, so the pace is a little slower, and you need to be slightly more deliberate in your movement. This change of pace works for me, and I quite enjoyed Rescue this week. I was playing with Sega Saturn twin sticks, which worked well, and was able to get on top of the early part of the game. I didn't get to put in as much time as I have with some of the other games we've had, but I did enjoy the time I did spend with it, and playing on the Mister is always good. The only issue we've had to contend with is the fact that the bullets on MAME or on the Mister are far smaller than they were on the arcade. Seeing footage from Alex, who has a prototype cab from the designer of the game, Chris Oberth, and a bootleg board, the actual game had bullets at least 2x2 pixels, whereas on MAME it's a single pixel. This makes them much harder to see and increases the difficulty accordingly. Even so, it's still good fun to play, and it seems a number of people enjoyed this one too. So let's take a look at the scores. We had 17 people play this week, which is a little lower than we've had, but not surprising for the last game of the season. Our top 10 is made up of Milthy in 10th, I'm in 9th after realising I was unlikely to beat Graham or Juff. We've got Bob, Mark and Colin in the 40,000s. I think this game grew on Colin quite a bit. We've got a return from Steve, who's done very well for 5th. This was another game Robert is a fan of, and he's taken an excellent 4th place. Our top 3 have all done a great job. Jaffer is in 3rd with 74,000. Graham submitted this game, and he's finished in 2nd, just shy of 100,000 points. But this week's winner is an owner of an original cab, and taking his first win of the season is Alex. Great job from Alex, and that's made it 8 different winners in 10 games, which is quite the change since Sick Boy has chosen not to take part this season. Here is the distribution of the scores. With a very linear scoring system and a pretty linear difficulty increase, we've got what you might expect regarding a distribution. The scores are close to being normally distributed, with the majority of people in the centre. We've got a few stragglers on the left, and then our top finishers on the right. Alex's performance this week has separated him from the pack by a whole bin, so that shows it was an excellent score to take the win. And here is the difficulty curve. As I said, the difficulty increases pretty linearly, and that's what we see here. There is a bit of a steeper climb initially, showing that the early game is mostly okay, which then levels off slightly before climbing again. Certainly our top scorers were able to get a fair bit further than everyone else, so once you've got on top of the game, you can probably make significant progress. Now, with that being our final game of Season 5, we can take a look at the final leaderboard. 25 people have made the final leaderboard after Steve and Ian played the last game of the season, and I've included Vintage Coin Up reviews as he's regularly engaged but not played when the game isn't on his Pandora's box. Ian's points have moved up a place into 20th, Steve is up 2 into 17th, and then our final top 10 is made up of Pingy in 10th, his standout performance being in Versus Ice Climber. Alex Nintendo Arcade is in 9th. I've given him the place despite drawing with Pingy, as he would gain more points if I excluded Vintage Coin Up reviews. He's just had his standout performance, winning Rescue, and he would have finished even higher if he'd remembered to put his Rampage score in. In 8th is Colin, who's had a pretty decent season, his best coming at the beginning with Puzzle Loop. KMA is 7th, our winner of his choice Rygar. Pearl has finished in 6th after joining us for Dodon Pachi and has continued with each game since. He's a bit of a vertical shmup specialist and took wins on both Dodon Pachi and Gemini Wing. He could be one to watch for next season, especially if there's a few shmups. Robert is our highest finisher without a win. He's had a strong finish to the season, taking 2nd places for both Rygar and Cubert. Mark is in 4th. His best finish was for Sunset Riders, which was his choice, but he put in a great performance nonetheless. Our top 3 were all in contention for the overall win for the entire season. In 3rd, it's me. I was leading the early part of the season after taking the win in our opening game, Puzzle Loop, and then I dragged myself back into contention with the win for Cubert. In 2nd was our leader for much of the mid-season. That's Juffer, who won Fastlane after showing the game was effectively broken, but he also had great performances in Dodonpachi, Gemini Wing, and Rampage. But our winner this season has been extremely consistent. He didn't play Puzzloop, but since then he's been in the top 3 for every game and won Rampage. I'm pleased to announce our winner of Mamemeister's High Score Kerfuffle Season 5 is Graham 10 Shearers. He was just 30 points ahead of Jaffa, so it's been a close one, and this victory is well earned. Before we move on to see what we're doing going forwards, I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who's taken part this season. We've had an all-time high with 31 people putting scores in for Dodonpachi, we've regularly seen over 20 people play, and 25 people have made the final table, compared to 18 last season. We've seen a number of new players join us regularly, including Pingy, KMA, Leagsy, Mancave Arcade, Gamers Garden Retro, and Arcade GG. I also can't forget our regulars, who keep coming back each season. It's all of you guys who make the competition. As long as people keep enjoying playing, I'll keep things running. So with Graham taking the season win, he's let me know a Champion's Choice game. I was initially going to do a 2-week gap due to things going on in my personal life, and let Jaffa have a game too. But I'm now available next week, so we'll do just the one. It's one I'm sure Jaffa will like too, so I doubt he'll be too upset. The choice from Graham is one I wouldn't have put in the main competition, as it will no doubt exclude some people, but I'll allow it for a Champion's Choice. And that's Gradius 5 on the PlayStation 2. This horizontal scrolling shmup is a bit of a gem, and only appeared on the PS2, released in 2004. It was developed by Treasure, who were formerly a spin-off from Konami, initially releasing games for the Mega Drive. So it's funny them taking on a game in a series that made Konami great in so many people's eyes. This game captures the essence of the Gradius series, but you can also see the input from Treasure. The style is very reminiscent of Ikaruga, another Treasure-developed shmup, and for a PS2 game, it still holds up graphically. I hope people are able to get Gradius 5 working on whatever system they're using. An original PS2 will obviously work, but this game runs great in PCSX2, the PS2 emulator. It may even be playable on a modded PS3. I'll be playing on original hardware, as I've got a modded PS2 running games off the hard drive. Along with my arcade stick, I built out of a PS2 shell, so it'll be PS2 on PS2 action for me. For a little fun between seasons, this should be a good one, and it maintains that classic Gradius difficulty, just like the arcade games. We'll see how everyone has done next week, but just completing the first boss is no easy task. Now, let me tell you what we're doing for next season. Panther made a suggestion, and I think it's a good one. We're going to do a game from each year of the 1980s, starting with 1980 and ending in 1989. We're also going to keep the random element, so what I'd like from each of you is a suggestion of a single game for the following week. So for next week, anyone who's played this season, or Sick Boy if he's returning, can you send me a game from 1980 that we've not played before, and I'll throw all the suggestions into the random selector. For games we've played before, you can scroll back through my videos. The game should be in the title of each one. But for 1980, we've already had Phoenix, Wizard of War, and Berserk. Each week, I will treble the chances of the previous winners' games coming up. I'll do Graham and Alex in the case of week 1. Each subsequent week, anyone who has played that week, I'll take suggestions from for the following week, and we'll work our way through the 80s. So get your game choices to me by Sunday at midnight, and I'll be back next week with the kickoff of Season 6. See you then.